Yeah, everyone's seeing this happen, but in classic Saga of Dice style, we've got Rob being completely muted at the very start. So we're just gonna wait just a tiny little bit until he gets that figured out again.
I think I'm. Can I be heard? Yes, I am being heard now. At least I should be. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another AOS Trash Pandas. I'm one of your two hosts, Rob, and this is my other host, Carson.
It's me,
How's it
Carson.
going, everyone?
It's going, yeah,
Oh,
going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Oh, my dog is already preparing me for the meat dimension segment, so I'm just gonna get it over with.
okay, please, please.
Um, so in the meat dimension today, we have. Oh, she didn't like that already. We've got some coins here. We've got
Ooh.
the championship coins. So we've got our qualifier coin for the world championships, and then I've got my second best overall coin from the world championships.
Whoa.
And
Look at you.
I've got a golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket.
That's so awesome. Oh,
Um,
man.
and most importantly, the meat dimension has blessed me with some nice hot tea because I was blessed by Nurgle among at least 30 other people at the end of the World
Jeez.
Championships this weekend. So
Whoa.
please wish us back to health because it was a
Whoa.
rough one.
I thought you were gonna.
It-
I thought you were gonna be blessed with Pepto Bismol. That's what was coming
That
out.
might have been that would have been a good idea. I'm past that stage, thankfully. Now I'm in the just let's just feel better. Let's
Let's
just be
just-
less exhausted.
Let's just chill. Let's just.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Like
man.
the lead TO Gareth wasn't even available to judge the final game that actually happened on stream
Really?
because he was so sick.
Wow. Poor guy.
Yeah,
It's
it was bad.
and it's not his fault, right? Like it's
No, no, no. It was,
obviously.
again,
Yeah.
so many people got sick.
I guess it's the venue.
So I had to take a sip of tea first. Um, I mean it's up in the air. There's,
Okay.
some
Well.
people think that maybe it was like a specific place in the food court.
Oh.
Could have been like a water jug or something that was contaminated. It could have been anything. And also, I'm not sure that I should be like throwing out accusations publicly anyway. But
Well, and
it
there's
could
no.
have been anything.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. No, I never would. Like, I was curious as to the prevailing thought. Like, you were there, I wasn't, so I have no idea. I just know that a bunch of people got sick. When I last heard, it was over 25 people. You said over 30. That's
Over
a
30
lot.
just in the AOS crew.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't really know what was happening on the 40K side of things, but
Jeez.
yeah, a lot of people got really sick.
Was the 40K tournament also like basically 100 people ish, like the AOS one?
I think it was more. And you can check the exact numbers on
Right.
BCP, but I think it was more.
Very cool. Okay. Well, so as per our usual, I was okay. This is the scoot, everyone. Okay. Carson finally, after me demanding it for years now, and but mostly not because of that at all, because people kept asking him for like some kind of social media at tournament. He finally capitulated, and he has made a Twitter. I was trying to add it to the stream. OBS Streamlabs is poopy. It's poopy garbage. Okay? So after trying to add it to the screen, and it will be here next time. I'm going to just go into my... I'm going to just make a new bottom banner like I did previously. So it'll be on the banner after today. Anyway, I was trying to just add text to screen. It would not work. So then I added it to the description. But somehow, because I tried to add text to the thing, sometimes it just bumps it off and it just doesn't have my mic anymore. So I apologize, but at least I'm consistent. I want to, this should be a safe place for everyone watching. So I feel like if everything just worked all the time, you guys would get kind of anxious and you wouldn't know why. You'd be like, something's wrong. You know what I mean? Like how you don't like how like humans like grew up like being like attacked by animals, and now that we're just like not being attacked by animals, there's just something kind of in us, and that's why where anxiety comes from, right? So just to keep everyone, you know, peace of mind. The audio went crazy. I mean, I understand my reasoning. Anyway, so we've got a new rumor engine. This can't be another FEC thing, right?
This, I like what Bahamut said, and I think that's a big meaty ogre hand that's just touching some stone.
Do they have like saber tooth claws like that?
No, they don't. It's also this has 3 fingers instead of 4.
Oh, there you go.
Like 3
That's
main
true.
fingers.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's some kind of ghoul of some kind.
Like, right? I don't. But we just got like all those FEC, beautiful FEC previews. A Morngul remake. That's interesting. I would be kind of sad, John, that it's not on top of the horse. Like I've got the Forge World one over there. I knew what you meant. That's a great that's actually a really good call. It has like super long nails like that. Huh. That's a great call. You know why too? Is like if the old world's coming out, you know, like they had 2 different kinds of Morngul's in Total War. Rat Ogre? I don't think so. I think there would be some fur on there. They mostly have fur on their... I mean, it's possible, for sure. I like the Morngul idea, because the Morngul doesn't have any hands, and that's clearly a hand. Yeah. I would love to be wrong. Like, obviously I'm expecting new Rat Ogres, so... I hope the new Rat Ogres, though, I hope they're like at least a kit of 3. Because otherwise we just won't have any variety. Like, they used to come in, like, 2s, I think. So, yeah. That's what I think. I like this rumor engine, though. It's a good one to kind of like look at and analyze. It didn't give us quite enough information, but like it's one of the better ones. Man, by the way, speaking of rumor engines, holy crap! Like so many of those rumor engines that we saw that we thought were FEC were in fact FEC. Like the one with the spear coming out of the skeleton's mouth, and then the other one that we thought was a banner. It turns out it's the Cardinal's like staff thingy that he has with the skeleton with like the organs inside or something.
Yeah, it's satisfying that like so many of those came true.
Right?
And I mean, it makes sense. Like
it did. It's a pretty major resculpt. I think that, you know, because it's FEC or because it's death, they can just use like banners and weird bits, and it doesn't really give away that much, you know. Whereas like if it like there's only so much they can show of Skaven. Like most of the rumor engines are, I mean, they don't normally come out with new Skaven sculpts, so I guess there is that. But I don't know. I feel like they struggle to show those more because like a Skaven foot or hand or, you know what I mean, tail gives things away massively. Yeah, but okay. So that was that. Then we had one of the best previews I've ever seen. Like, so the Seraphon one had, it was like, they showed the box, right? Like they showed what was it going to be in the box, and then the next time they did a preview, they showed the rest of it, right? This time, unless there's more stuff, unless that rumor engine is in fact like yet another, I don't think it is. You know what I mean? I personally don't believe that there's going to be anything else that they haven't showed us. So with that in mind, like that preview was so long. There's so much stuff that they showed, right? How many kits was it? Someone said it was like 6 or 8 kits or something like that, right? That we we didn't know about, right? So we got the Crypt Ghoul. The Crypt Ghouls, we were like, what were our guesses? Yours was like 4 and mine was 5, I want to say. And that included them,
so.
right?
I think mine was 3, not including them.
3 not including it, 4 including it, and mine was 4 not including it, 5 including it, right? And we weren't even close. So there's the Crypt Guard. So we'll include it, right? 4 and 5. That's 1. By the way, they're amazing. There's like so many different sculpts. And you can arm them differently. And hopefully they'll do it like the skeletons and the Blood Knights from Soulblight Gravelords, where it doesn't make a difference what you arm them with, so you could just have the benefit of having them look cool. But we'll see. You know, it might be like a Graveguard thing. I hope not. But
yeah, particularly I really like their use of like the human skin as like banners, and like I think some of the Morbeg Knights have like them like stretched across their shields and stuff like that, which is super cool. Like
they
it
do.
Looks amazing.
It's so awesome, and like it's so like, I mean, a lot of you guys haven't seen it. You'll see it in a battle report hopefully fairly soon. But like, I took my Charnel Throne and I stretched like green stuff over it and made it look like a bunch of skins were hanging off of it, and then I painted it. I painted one of them like green, so it's like orc skin, and then like, you know what I mean, a few others mostly like human looking skin. So this is exactly the kind of thing. Like look at like the banner that's on there right now. Like, what is that, a hand or a foot or something like that? It's like, you can see it's like something like that, right? It's some kind of appendage. House Bolton. Yeah. These guys are less terrifying than House Bolton, but that's true.
I think so. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and like the guy just gnawing on like a, you know, what's clearly like a, I don't know, a piece of mutton, or like a steak of some sort. Yeah, that's what I see.
Yeah, that's definitely what's happening.
Right, and then
he's just enjoying a nice meal.
He's just enjoying a nice meal on, you know, on the battlefield. Like, you got to power up. You know, winners power up, right? Those are clearly
Rob, those are clearly trail rations.
Trail rations. I mean, I can't tell. Like, it's pretty small, but like, I mean, you know what? It makes kind of more sense if it's a mutton leg. Like, either one of us could be right here, okay? Because
and that distinguished musician is just like beating on his nice red painted drum. Like, it's a really, it's elegant.
It really is. You know, beautiful. What looked to be like some kind of ivory drumsticks. I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure what they used back then, but this aligns with what I would think. And then the other guy's holding a basketball for some reason on the field. I like that they're, you know, they're remembering who they are. He's just palming a basketball. He's just like, this is who I am. I go to battle and I take my basketball with me. You know, it's great for like in between, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
Well, sometimes when you're in a ceasefire with your opponent, because that's the honorable thing to do when it's not like actual fighting time.
Yep.
You play a game of b-ball, you know?
Game of hoops. Exactly.
Yeah.
The war that b-balls together makes peace with each other. That's the old saying. But why the bow ties? I mean, they're fancy. You know? This is an army of noble, like, gentlemanly scholars and such, right? Like, they're, they're willing to put their lives on the line, but they also know how to look good doing it. Okay, so we've got these noble knights. They look like Praetorians, right? Some kind of Praetorians. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so this is one unit, okay? And we've seen the halberd guys again. Hopefully it's one thing, but probably not. And then we've got the Morbeg Knights, who are, awesome, like you said. They're rocking. So this is another unit. So this is number 2, okay? Amazing sculpts. Like, I don't know, did they explain what they are? They're not like mini Vargulfs, because our Vargulf is...
Also,
what's that?
It's also important to note that the preview that you guys got and the preview that I got were much different.
Really?
not in the way that like the content was different. I'm sure I actually haven't seen what you guys saw, but like because I was there in person, for
Yeah.
you guys, you see like a stream that's like nicely like curated. It's cinematic. They're like, here's the next thing, and it goes and like there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like an event hall with a guy with a little clicker. And he's like, so yeah, here's the next thing. There's these more bag nights, and just like next slide, and then it's just like a still image, and then he just like it showed all of the same stuff, but it was just a guy like introducing it in person, and we're like, cool, but like it's not nearly as like big and flashy as like it looks like on the stream. For sure.
Why didn't they just show the video?
There were videos too. Like
No, but like they could have just projected the stream.
They did. Oh, projected the stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Well, we saw it. It wasn't at the same time as you. Like it was like an hour and a half before or something.
Oh, got
And
it.
they were like, please don't take any pictures because we're showing this an hour and a half later. Yada,
I
yada, yada.
see.
Yeah. So I could have done both. Like I could have
Right.
like attended that and then watched the stream, but yeah.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious about these guys. Like, I don't think they explained, but it's clearly not a Vargulf traditionally, and it might change in the new one. Maybe he's some kind of like hell pit type of deal. But the Vargulf was always a character. In the old world lore, the Vargulf was like the vampire that like gave away to his like beastly instincts and like devolved into this kind of monster that's barely got it under control, or sometimes doesn't.
Right.
Hey ho, Kermit the presenter here.
I think you'll really like these new units we have to show you today.
That's a good impression. So, so these guys are probably going to be more bestial, I would imagine. These
I'd imagine so.
these horses.
I really like this because like I know a lot of people have been talking about like the smaller magma draw potential for like cavalry and stuff like that, and I really want them to explore more like cavalry that isn't necessarily horses.
Yeah,
good examples of that are like Mornfang, for instance, for ogres.
Yep.
Like you have these like big beasts with tusks, like they don't exactly look like they're not horses, and then like Stormcast have their like griff chargers and stuff.
Yep.
And now these guys like just different archetypes
Eels.
of cavalry.
Eels
Sorry?
are a really good one.
Yeah, eels are fantastic.
Agrodon.
Yeah. It's just awesome that it's not just like horses, but with elves on it or something, or horses, but with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like Agrodon are like 5 wounds, and like the smallest cavalry that I can think of are like the Spider Fang on Spider Riders or whatever. Those guys,
Yeah.
like, and those are 2 wounds or whatever. Like really small, come in unit of 5s. I really like that. I wish they would kind of do that more. Why does the bat have a troll face? Yeah, that one of them kind of does. Hey, the last one. It's probably the angle though, guys. Like you got to remember them and their picture taking is always really whack. And hopefully there will be more than 3 faces. I know the oh no, there's only 3 heads in the Agrodon kit if I remember correctly. So yeah, might be stuck with good old troll face. Bite off your face to spider face. That's what Michael always says. But yeah, we don't get any more detail here. But anyway, they're really cool. So that's 2 units. And honestly, just the fact that we're getting like a cavalry, any kind of cavalry was way more than I expected, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. And then the new Vargulf, who is like perfection. If I were to make like one small thing, because I think they show the back. Yeah. I wish there was a little bit more wing to him, but like, I love how creepy and long and thin his arms are. Like, I love it.
It looks like a flying squirrel from the back. He just out of a tree, like just
Right?
like glide into the center of the enemy line.
Yeah, kind of from the front too. Maybe that'll be his name, Squirrel. Yeah, he's really cool. So, and we didn't know about the Vargulf, but that was the thing I said from the beginning. Like the only thing we can kind of assume is the Vargulf because it's resin and it looks poopy. So, yeah, this thing it did go past my personal expectations of how good it was going to look. And then we've got the Cardinal, which is amazing. This is one of the earlier rumor engines that we have. This banner thing here, or we thought it was a banner, but it's clearly a holy scepter, right? He's really cool. I really like stuff along this line where it's like, Gourmet, this guy, that whole kind of look where they still think that they're something, right? Anyway, and then we got the Royal Decapitator. This guy looks amazing. He's number 5 so far, right? So we're at like what I guessed already.
Yeah.
Right?
I prefer this. Okay, do you prefer this guy with the hood or with like his bald head?
I can't decide. I really like them both. If I have to pick one, I'd say without.
Okay. I like it with, but I think that I would probably green stuff over like the front of the hood so you can only see like the glowing eyes underneath.
Ooh, that's a cool idea. I mean, I like the idea of the hood, but yeah, like they usually have, it's like a big mask, like even in the cartoons, right? Yeah. That's a good point. Either way, this model is rad. I love his axe. I like that.
That's fantastic.
I like the power drink or whatever he's holding in his right hand. Like all of it. It's
He's just got some wine.
Oh, is it wine?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can make it whatever you want. You can paint it like wine. You can paint it like Powerade or Gatorade or whatever. So
Whatever brand you prefer.
Whatever brand, exactly. Is this number 6 or is this number 5?
6. This is 6.
This is 6, right? So we're already one over what I even thought, and obviously we all remember the other one that we. And we are getting a box. Whew. I was actually worried that we weren't getting a box, and it's more than I kind of expected. 20 of the Elite Guard, I forget what they're called. 3 more Big Knights, 1 Vargulf, and 1 Gore Warden. This is dope. Like, honestly, that has one more thing than I expected. I expected the Gore Warden to be in there, but then it also has like a Vargulf in there. So it's way better than I even thought it was going to be. I'm super excited for it.
It's got 20 of those new guys though. I called it. I called it.
Oh, did you? Nice. 20 new guys. That's amazing. 20 new guys, 3 of the knights. Like, oh, that's so sweet. So, yeah. You prefer the herd? The more living version of the Lord Executioner. I don't see what you're talking about. Those models are just... Yeah, that's what I've been saying, Will. Like, exactly. He's carrying a bottle of Gatorade, right? This guy's obviously got some kind of holy object. Nothing to see there. We got a giant squirrel here. This guy's got a beautiful, like, is that silk? It's hard to see.
I think it's velvet.
Velvet. Okay. A little heavier than silk, but, it's probably a little bit sturdier too. I feel like the velvet... Oh, no, I mean, velvet's like what? Isn't that like beaver skin or something like that?
Not sure.
Anyway...
He wouldn't concern himself with that, though. That's a little too savage for him.
You know what? Yeah, that's true.
What the animal is.
Also, we should probably point out that, like, it does look like velvet, but you could paint it like silk. If you want it to be silk, that's up to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We got this guy with his drum, as we were saying earlier. Oh, yeah, this guy's palming a basketball. Or, again, you could paint it as a soccer ball. It's fine. But, no. They're all beautiful. And then we've got freaking Usharan. Oh, my goodness. What the crap? Like, what the crap? This is one of the coolest models I have ever seen. Like, this might be, and I mean this, like, objectively speaking, this might be the best model they've ever made. Before, I think it was Be'lakor. If I'm being objective. My personal favorite was Croak. Even though Skaven is by far my favorite aesthetic army, by far, those sculpts are all, like, literally 10 years old, right? at this point. So yeah, like just what they're able to do now is it's on a different level. Yeah, I don't know. I have to let it rest a bit. I have to like wait. You know what I mean? Like I felt the same way when Croak first came out. I was like, I think this is the best model they've ever made. I waited, I thought about it, and then I was like, nope, yep, that's the best in my opinion. You know what I mean? But then most people seem to say Be'lakor, and I look, you know, looking at Be'lakor objectively, I think they're probably right, but objectively. But yeah, for sure. And I like to think they grabbed one of the Primarch sculptors and said, see this new range of models for FEC, read this fluff, and then make a Primarch model. Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly what it is. Oh, and shout outs to Mankiller. Shout outs to Mankiller. He only sent this to me, which is crazy. I should have, if I'd been thinking, I would have brought it up on stream, but he like did a comparison. I was like, what size base is this? Like, you know how you guys know how I was like, what base is this? I need to know this. I don't know why, but I'm really always curious. I never want it to be a 160. I think that's the main thing. I'm just like, please don't be a 160, like 130 at the biggest, right? And he like did like a scale comparison, and he's quite sure that it's a 130. So, which I think is perfect. Yeah, for me anyway. Because there's all
60s are kind of crazy. That's the point where like
yeah,
even normally laid out terrain can get in the way of you going anywhere. And I'd imagine that he doesn't have the fly keyword, which is going to make it like extremely difficult.
well, I mean, we don't know he doesn't have the fly keyword, but you're probably right. Like I'm going to assume.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at him, like I guess maybe if he's like leaping and bounding all over the place,
Exactly.
thematically, sure, but
Exactly. Like we've seen that in the past with some models, but that usually only means you can skip terrain, not usually models. Traditionally speaking. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won't fly. I agree. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay. So did you put it in the Discord, or maybe he put it in now? He did like an analysis. I think he just sent it to me, but yeah, I'm so jazzed for this guy. I've got like a whole army planned out. I've got my color scheme finally done. Oh, and I just picked up this stuff. Let me know what you guys think of this stuff. Have any of you tried the Pro Acryl basing paste? It's like more expensive, but they ran out of the AK Interactive stuff I normally buy at Stronghold, and I was just like, well, I'll try this now, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Now for the topic du jour. Carson went to World Championship of Warhammer.
no, I didn't.
Oh.
And that's the stream, everybody.
Bye,
See ya.
everyone! I should have thought to turn off my head camera too. If we had planned that would have been great. Yeah.
No, we don't plan anything on this stream.
That's true.
That's
Bye.
You're supposed
No.
to tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot. If I turn on Streamlabs first, it won't let me use my camera for the meeting thing that we normally do. I was just like, oh man, I thought I'd really done it. Anyway, panic averted. Okay. So Carson was kind enough to take a bunch of pictures.
Yep, because it's been a very frequent theme that every tournament that I go to, Rob's like, do you have any pictures from it? And I'm like, not one, not a single one.
Yeah.
Just because I never think to take any pictures. So I was just trying to take pictures of like everything that I possibly could. I took selfies with almost all of my opponents whenever possible. And yeah, so we can just run through them.
Nice.
That's the welcome to Atlanta sign. That's what greets you when you like get to their airport. It's a pretty nice big airport. Yeah.
Right on. Sorry. And then we've got like a picture of what looks like to be the hotel.
Yeah, the Hyatt. It's a gorgeous hotel. Like
They're
if
all
you
really nice.
like when you step inside, that's effectively what you see. Like in a normal hotel, it's just like, maybe they've got like 3 stories as like an atrium kind of thing, but this goes all the way up until there's like a skylight on the roof.
Wow.
And then the rooms just like line the walls essentially. And that big column is obviously the elevator, and it's like glass fronted, so like when you go up and down, you can see the entire atrium from above, which is super cool, super nice. And then where the it looks very Judge Dredd. That's true. It does. It's like it's the bougie version of Judge Dredd, essentially.
And to be fair, it was in Atlanta, which is basically, you know.
It's basically a dystopian world. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is that. That's. I'll continue on that later, but the Hyatt was beautiful.
Yep.
Did not enjoy Atlanta. Like, if anyone's living in Atlanta, please know that I only experienced like 2 or 3 square blocks of your city, but those 2 or 3 square blocks were not for me.
That's true. I mean, like, and to be fair, maybe it's like the equivalent of like someone like going to like East Hastings of Vancouver and just be like, this place is bad news. And I actually have met people who have done that. They're like, dude, your city is scary. And it's like, were you on East Hastings? Yes, I was. Don't go there. Didn't someone tell you not to go there? Like, what? Anyway, oh man. Yes, and then this is the main hall.
Main hall, indeed. Yeah, they had like all of the flags of all of the countries just lining the walls. I think they said there was over 40 countries being represented at the World Championships.
Whoa!
Super, super cool. Like, you know, lots of people from North America, obviously, lots of people from Europe, Asia. I know that there were some people from China, the Philippines, Thailand, like, you know,
no Japan.
all over the. Maybe.
Huh?
I don't know.
I was just curious because
I don't think there was any Japan in AOS, but.
Maybe
yeah.
I think 40K is more popular over there, but I was just curious because like Japan is one of their major places that they kind of export the game to. All the instructions they have Japanese and stuff like that. So,
gotcha. I mean, one thing that might have limited that is so in the tournament packet, like the main language is English.
For sure.
Like, you come here like you're expected to communicate in English, and then if 2 opponents just so happen to speak a different native language, and they both agree to like play the game in that language, more than welcome to do that. So like if 2 French players get paired up, they're more than welcome to speak French.
That's true.
But if it's like one person speaks English and one person mostly speaks French, unfortunately the game has to be in English. So.
That's true. Although I did hear, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that in Japan they do speak in Japanese, or excuse me, in English. God dang it.
I was like, yeah, I would bet that they speak Japanese in Japan.
There's like quite a few foreigners in the Japanese scene, from what I understand. So like they'll speak in English if that's the case, or obviously if the person wants to speak in Japanese.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna originally try and do battle reports in Japanese, but I don't know anyone who plays the game who's Japanese. So if anyone knows someone in the Vancouver area, I thought that'd be really fun to do a whole battle report in Japanese and then subtitle it. But then I was also like, that'd be an insane amount of work to subtitle the entire thing.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, there's auto-generated English subtitles.
Oh, that's true.
On YouTube,
but then people would also have to like actually watch the video, and most people I think paint and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we got another picture of the tables. This looks like AOS terrain?
Some of that from that angle you're going to be seeing mostly 40K terrain.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I think that's all 40K.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, that was just more pictures of like the hall, and then I think after that, what's the next picture? Sorry, the stream's a little bit delayed for me.
Oh, sorry. I can't tell. I think that's also 40K terrain, but
yeah, sorry, just lots of pictures of the event. Oh, there's a Japanese flag there. So,
oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Japan represented there.
Is that Taiwan? I think that's Taiwan.
Also, I forgot South America was represented as well. Argentina.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and then we've got your round Thursday. Basically, the schedule. It looks like. Oh, and your little prize pack too.
Yeah. So this was basically whenever you go to a Games Workshop event, like a tournament hosted by them, they'll always give you like a little pack that has like little cards for each of the missions that you're going to be playing. For this one as well, they give you little cards for each battle tactic that you could choose, just to be GHB ones, of course. And then you'll see that there are 12 games here, because it was possible, and there were 12 games that were actually played in this tournament. Obviously, you're only going to be playing 8 games if you're in the Worlds bracket, but
Right.
if you made it to the Champs bracket, then you could be playing as many as 12. So
That's crazy.
they, instead of like repeating any missions, they went through literally every single mission in the GHB, which is kind of nuts in my opinion.
It is nuts. It's also like, because they're not all created equal either. You know what I mean?
No. So that's why, like, on the second mission, the Frigid Zephyr, everyone was like freaking out and asking a bunch of questions on like what counts as what and like all these sorts of things. Like, it was.
Which one is the Frigid Zephyr? The one where you can start within?
No, the Frigid Zephyr is the one where there's like the squall, and that means that nothing can fly, and
Oh my gosh!
units are not visible to each other outside of 12 inches.
I didn't even remember that existed.
Yeah, and the squall can dissipate on a 5-up on turn 2, and then 4-up, 3-up, 4, etc., etc. But
Yeah.
that one was kind of crazy because like I had to go to the judges and ask like, okay, the Stonehorn's monstrous rampage where he can move across models as if he can fly, can I still do that?
Yeah.
Or can I just like,
Yeah.
can he only move kind of thing? And the first judge that answered was just like, no, you can't fly over models. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then I went and told the Gargant player who I had played in the first round, Tyler Bushy, who was like, that doesn't sound right. And then he went up to Gareth, which is like the lead TO guy, and Gareth was like, no, it's as if you can fly. It's not that you're flying. And
Yeah.
then he ruled it such
That is definitely the right call, because the idea is that these models, like the giants just wouldn't fundamentally work in a lot of ways if they don't rule it that way. But on top of that, the idea isn't that the mammoth is actually flying. He's bulldozing through things and causing damage as if he could fly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly.
that was the right call for sure.
Yeah,
but I mean,
like,
it's not easy being a TO. Like,
No,
I'm not down on him or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
There's a lot of wonkiness in this pack for sure.
Yep.
But it also made me kind of realize that like, even though we kind of crap on a lot of these missions, those are my beds. Like, once you actually sit down and play them in a very competitive setting,
Yeah.
they're not that bad. Like, it's like you kind of make do, and like sure there's some certain limitations, and it's hard, and it can favor some people over the others, but like you make do, right? It wasn't impossible.
No, I agree.
Oh.
I just like it, like shooting armies become like, if you're relying on shooting, like, and you get that, you're just like, okay,
It's
you
rough.
know, yeah. And I mean, like, if you're going against another shooting army, then hey, that's great. But if you're not, then it's just like, okay, I don't know.
Well, another thing to consider too is with the Frigid Zephyr, I think it says units are not visible to each other outside of 12 inches. So
Right.
I'm pretty sure that affects the range of like spells and stuff
Spells, everything. Yeah.
too. And we definitely didn't play that way in the round. I think like both me and my opponent forgot.
Oh, right.
So, which it didn't affect me whatsoever because I don't, as ogres, really have any spells that like target you from a far distance away.
Right.
But I know that he had like Waste Away and stuff like that, and he was playing Soulblight Gravelords. But again, like, that's a mission that never has and probably will never again pop up in a tournament pack. So
Yeah, I can't imagine.
everyone was probably making mistakes constantly.
That makes sense. And I don't blame
Yep.
him.
But yeah, these are some pictures of the hotel room that I got. And then more pictures of the event hall with people actually filled up. There was a ton of people there, like I think 300 plus. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that looks wild. But it looks like there's still a good amount of space for everyone to kind of be. And I assume that, like, with where all these like screens and crap are, is that where like top table was?
Yeah.
Right.
So when you were streaming, I don't know what like the parameters were. I would assume it's like one of the top tables is being streamed. But yeah, I think there was like 4 of them, and I think like 2 or 3 of them were dedicated to 40K, and then 1 or 2 of them were dedicated to AOS.
Right. Yeah, we got to see you on stream at one point. It was on the French stream though.
Yeah. I was playing against Nicholas, or otherwise known as Spoon, who ended up actually winning the tournament.
Right.
So he was, yeah, that game was kind of interesting because like I had so on Saturday, uh, the champs bracket started at 8 a.m. So we played our first game, and like there isn't really hard rules on when the games end. There's just like a lot of break between, so that if you flow over, you kind of just eat into your break. And the first game I played that day, like really ate into the break to the point where there's like maybe 20 minutes between the end of the first game and like the second game. So I was like, okay, I don't think I can go for lunch, but maybe I can get Lance, my buddy, to like go and grab me a sandwich from like Chick-fil-A or something, and I can just like eat it during my next match. And so I go to the bathroom and come back out, and then like one of the TOs is like, "Hey, you're on stream. Like you're gonna be on stream this time." I'm like, "Oh, God, no, I can't eat." And then
Oh,
I just like I had the headset on, and like
that's
we were
brutal.
like about to start the stream, and I looked across. I was like, "Did you get lunch?" And he's like, "No." "Did you?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "This is gonna be rough." And so we were both like playing that game, like obviously exhausted because we were up way earlier than anyone else was, and then hungry too. And I mean, starving an ogre player, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's just unfair, man.
exactly. No, but it was a good game. What really got me is just that I've actually never played against Teclis before. So I knew about like roughly what he did, but this is the first time seeing him actually on the tabletop. So that was a bad surprise. He's got some tricks up his sleeve for sure, which ended up being super useful in his final games against Skaven too, largely to do with the bravery stuff.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unaided Foot says, Ogre Pride, great job, buddy, and it was fun following you and having a hoot. I know
Thanks,
Unaided Foot. Like that name is familiar to me. I can't remember. I'm not who. I feel like I've heard that before. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks to everyone for joining us. While you're here, if you're not already subscribed, hit subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I appreciate you very much. This is like another picture of the venue. Looks like a similar angle, but like a little bit later.
Yep. Exactly.
More pictures, similar stuff. Everyone's watching something.
That is. Oh, I think that was like the starting ceremony.
Oh, okay.
They're all out of order. I bet.
No worries.
You should get up on like the selfies portion too, soon, which is just each of my opponents.
That's perfect. Yeah, and then this is the stuff that you showed us.
Yeah, they gave you a little qualifier coin. Everyone got one of these, which basically just it's like World Championships qualifier 2023.
That's so awesome.
And then you also got they made sure that everyone got an actual like physical golden ticket.
That's so rad.
It's obviously not real gold. I think it's like cardstock with a gloss on it.
Oh, okay.
But it's still super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could frame it that way too, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we got a picture of a deployment. It looks like.
Is this against Gargants?
Yes.
It is. So this is my first game against Tyler Bushy, which I believe he's a Team USA player. And now kind of getting into the actual matches, like this was the hardest tournament I've ever done, obviously. Where every single game felt like a game 5
right.
in a tournament. Where basically like every player that you play against is someone who has won a tournament previously.
Yeah, exactly.
And is capable of winning a tournament again. So like this game was like super swingy. I made some mistakes on deployment by like being a little bit too far away because I should have been like able to counter punch him a little bit better.
Right.
And
because the Gargants could basically just put a foot on an objective and then they own it. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So I needed to be able to establish myself mid-board, basically. And what ended up happening is I thought I was going to lose my first game because of this, but like after the first 2 turns, I think he had killed like almost all of my Gluttons.
Wow.
All of my Iron Guts. The Noblars were gone. I think the Iron Blaster was maybe still there, but like most of my army was dead. It was just like the Stonehorn and then like one unit of Iron Guts that had like 1 in it and 1 unit of Iron Guts that had like 2 in it or something. Jeez. And then my Wizards were alive as well. And then just like one by one, the Stonehorn just went like 1 Gargant's dead, 2 Gargant's dead, and he just like kept slamming into them basically. And like I ended up winning by not very many points, like 3 or 4 or something. And it certainly had to do with some luck, like winning priorities when I needed them. I remember he had one tactic where he just had to like kill something with shooting, and he had this like 2-up, pick up a boulder and like whip it at something.
Right.
Rolls a 1. And I'm like, Well, that helps. So this was like the wake up call game for sure, where I was just like, oh god, like I can't be making mistakes on deployment like that. And
Well, and
luckily
we don't really have Gargant players locally.
No, this is actually my first game against Gargants
Yeah,
as well.
exactly, right. Have I played against Gargants? I don't think I've ever played against Gargants either. I had them on the channel, but it's always been Alex playing someone else with Gargants. But wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I've heard like, oh, Gargants are just a DPS check, etc.
That's what people say. It's not just
gotta...
they are a DPS check. That's true,
yeah.
But they're also there's also other things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was also a battle plan that was like definitely tough against Gargants because it's like there's only 3 points,
right?
And he only needs to stand on 2 of them to deny me like 3 victory points a turn, or no, 2 victory points a turn. But yeah,
that's true.
It was a tough one. And then if you go to the next picture, it should be the selfie with me, Tyler, and then AOS coach. I think
it probably is. Keith said, "Isn't your local meta 75% Iron Jaws?" That's not inaccurate. It's 85% destruction.
Yeah.
So yeah, a mixture.
Yeah, what's funny, like in Canada, it feels like everyone just wants to like get in your face and just
yeah
eat you.
We are all there's a lot of old fantasy players, and I think that actually does like there's a lot of old fantasy players here, and because that game is just about killing, you know, I think that might have shaped the local zeitgeist a bit.
I can see that.
Darn it, I just apparently pooped the bed. Why is it? Okay. Okay, here once I get
children.
God dang it. That is my my brother's adoptive son. 1 second. Let us that's so annoying. I don't know why it just like clicked off like that either. Yeah.
Yeah, Beefy Crunch. I don't know why. Yeah, Canada just really likes destruction for some reason. But maybe not Eastern Canada.
I think it's BC, right? I think they're elf.
We said the prairies are full of destruction also.
Oh, okay.
And that's just true in real life, but in Warhammer I'm sure it's true too.
Well, and does he mean the prairie provinces or the prairie kind of states? Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah, I think
Beefy's from Alberta, right?
Manitoba.
Manitoba. Right. He was asking about dice. Okay. There we go. Boop. Got it. Smooth as always.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me, AOS coach, and Tyler. Big smiles on all of our faces. This was before the game. I mean, big smiles after the game too. But it was nice to see AOS coach in person. He's a really cool guy. Oddly, he looks more buff in person than he does on YouTube.
Well, it's like here.
Yeah, I know it's like here, but
I saw a picture of him where he was like doing this in front of the what's his name? The chapter master of the World Eaters, now the Black Legion, Abaddon. There's they had some kind of weird cardboard cutout, or what was that, by the way? I meant to ask.
They have it was like a big poster on the wall that was like true scale.
Oh, okay.
Of Abaddon.
That was cool, man. I would have definitely done what he did. And oh yeah, without a hat too. That's true, Bahamut. He's usually rocking the hat. A Marvel hat.
I guess I stole his hat.
Okay. God dang it! It did it again with the crap. What is going on? It won't let me click on the next picture. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open this up open it up in Messenger, and then hopefully, gosh dang it. Oh, by the way, Carson's on Twitter now. Did I mention that you're in the Discord chat?
Yep. Also, you're broadcasting our entire
I'm sorry.
message history to the entire internet. What are you doing?
I don't know. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. Hopefully this works from now on. Okay. Would you care to go on?
Are we good? Is everything okay?
I don't know. What do I look like? Someone who knows what they're doing?
This was Jonathan Waretka He played Soulblight Gravelords. This was in the Frigid Zephyr. He was running like an unrendable zombie dragon and Neferata Legion of Blood.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty scary to go against. Yeah, it was a tight game for a little bit, and then I like just mortal wounded his zombie dragon to death with charge mortals, and then after that point it was kind of just like leaning more and more in my favor, and then I ended up taking the game. He's a super nice guy. I think he said he was from Tampa, and yeah,
Awesome.
so it was a fun game.
Okay, we're back in business. We got.
Yep, this game was against OBR, Mortis Praetorians.
Oof.
This is Alex Cosgrove, I think. I can't remember exactly where he was from or like where he won his ticket, but this was Geometric Pulse. And this game I definitely like dominated a little more than I like what's it called, like thought I would, I guess. Like Mortis Praetorians, it seems kind of scary as an ogre player because they've got the counter charge stuff. And it started out a little bit rocky. I like charged some gluttons into Xantos because he was a little bit exposed, thinking I could kill him, and I definitely didn't. So I just fed him a unit of gluttons, but then for the rest of the game, it was just I was able to just establish much more presence on points than he was in almost max score. So
Right.
the big deciding thing was like he put his Bone Shaper right next to a whole bunch of Immortus Guard. And then I buffed up the Stonehorn like as much as you possibly can. Like he had Mystic Shield, he had +1 to wound, he had Rend 3 on his horns because I was able to get like the +1 to hit from the damned mysterious terrain.
Wow.
And he also had +1 damage on his mount's weapons. So basically, he was hit. He was like with just the Rock Horde horns were 6 attacks, 3s, 2s, -3, 5 flat damage. And then basically what happened is I just dumped everything into the Bone Shaper, and it picked up the entire unit of Immortus Guard in one go.
Entire
well,
unit of 3
game's
or
over.
Jeez.
Sorry?
Entire unit of 3 or 6?
6.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good night. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
was-
lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was pretty brutal. But yeah, he was a super nice guy.
I can see that it was brutal in his eyes. Like
That picture was actually after the game.
I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah,
You had nothing but really nice things to say about all your opponents.
Yeah, everyone was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all fantastic. And then the next guy that I played, Thibault, he's French.
Nice.
He's part of the French Academy. He played Maggotkin of Nurgle, also a really great guy. He had just come off of actually beating Tom Guan.
Wow.
So he beat Tom Guan in not lines of communication, in Geometric Pulse, which is the round that was like prior to this one.
Did you say what he plays?
Yeah, he plays in Maggotkin of Nurgle.
Oh, sorry,
which,
you
it
did
makes
say
sense
it. I'm
because
sorry.
like he,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
you know, he's controlling whether things can pile in. He's got like much more board presence. I can see how a Maggotkin can like kind of dominate against a Morghast heavy what's it
OBR?
called? OBR, yeah. And also like the attrition, like mortal wounds and all that sort of stuff, I can see like really coming down on Morghast armies pretty heavily.
Wow.
So
Huh.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's good to see because Maggotkin wasn't doing so hot for a minute there, and I'm not glad that Tom Guan lost. I don't know him, but it's really cool to see that he was able to do that. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this game was like it was an interesting game. It started off pretty rough for him, but just like the previous one.
Oh, the previous one? Right on. Yeah.
Yeah. Where basically like I just launched my Stonehorn into the very back lines and killed his general like immediately.
Oh, yeah, that's gotta hurt.
And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game because it was like all of a sudden he knew he couldn't get his Grand Strat. That was his only source of Blizzard, which can like realistically deal with the Stonehorn.
Jeez. Right.
And I think the one big thing in that game was that once I did that, he kind of turned the Glotkin around and charged into the Stonehorn.
Okay.
And the Stonehorn was still fully buffed up from my previous turn, so he just kind of like beat the crap out of the Glotkin on his turn, almost killed it, and then in my following turn I finished it off, which was
Jeez, that's like 600 points right there.
yeah, plus his general dead.
Plus his general's dead. And was the general a Guo?
It was a Rotbringer sorcerer.
Oh, okay, got it. I
Yeah.
see. But yeah, that's a big deal. I mean, and like you're not getting the CP from your general each turn. Like I just played a game. I can't remember who it was against. And anyway, with IDK, and it was just like once my general was dead, I was just like, this sucks. Like this is really hard.
Yeah.
I think it was against Dan.
Well,
but
the nice thing about him is that he brought Orgots, he brought the Glotkin, and he brought his general, and all
Right.
of those count as a general for the purpose of getting a CP. So that wasn't as big of a deal for
oh,
him.
fair enough. Yeah, and I see.
Yeah, but it was just like knowing that you're already 3 VP down because you can't possibly get your Grand Strat. Because he had sorcery savant, spellcasting savant, which is just like keep your sorcerer or your Andorian Locust general alive. So, and also yes, Keith Rogers says Stornhorn Rampage isn't a pile-in, so no Nurgle shenanigans on that one, and that's very true.
That's a good point. Also, yeah, like if you can move away from the Glotkin's bubble of anti-charging or like charging you in your turn, and then you can get over that way into range by using that as well. So there's a few things you can that kind of gets around, what was probably his plan.
Yeah, so thus far the Stonehorn has been like the most valuable tool in my toolkit.
Which
like,
is interesting because I wouldn't say it normally is, right?
It definitely can be.
It can be, for sure. I mean, it's like 500 points. It hits like a truck. But like, I don't know. It's just like the ones that I've been watching of you or when we play and stuff like that, it's usually like Gluttons or what are the other guys? The smashy ones?
Iron Guts.
Iron Guts, thank you, that are really pulling their weight. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Also, sorry, my partner just got home, so my dog's going crazy.
Can barely even hear her at all, to be honest.
So now she's angrily bringing me a ball. So the next game, this was really interesting. This is another French Academy player, Franck. I don't know what it was about this game, but I just like walk up to the table and he's just kind of like sitting there, like leaned over, sitting down, and he didn't speak English super well. But for some reason, I walked up to him and I just saw this frame. Like I just imagined him sitting in a park, like just across from like a chess table, basically. Like in my mind, he took a drag of a cigarette, but obviously it's a no smoking venue. And it was just kind of like we just sat down and without really being able to communicate super well, we knew how to kind of get around the game. And this was definitely a match that I won purely because of luck. He was playing Starborn Seraphon, or sorry, not purely because of luck, but it definitely was on my side. And what happened was I gave him the first turn and he dealt like a devastating first turn blow.
Right.
Where like he killed my general, my fire belly. He got like all of the spells he wanted to off, and he set up his terrain in such a way that it was like exactly 3 inches outside of like a impassable piece of terrain.
Jeez.
And then it was like also like another impassable piece of terrain. So like the Stonehorn couldn't get to anything.
Right.
But he just wedged Croak right in that spot where it was too far away from my stuff to really like easily get to him, and the Stonehorn would have to like go all the way around. So it was a rough spot. So what I did is I kind of just like said, all right, I have to play for a double, otherwise I lose, basically.
Wow.
And I do my first turn. I think I fail my battle tactic because like I can't easily do magical dominance or anything like that. I maybe kill like a screen or two or something like that. And then what happens is one other thing that happens is in that turn as well, like I put some Iron Guts like basically an 11-inch charge away from where Croak is, where he put him. I roll the first charge, it fails. Roll the second charge and it succeeds, which is awesome. But his Temple Guard are obviously right beside Croak, so Croak passes almost all of them off. I managed to get a double activation into Croak with the Iron Guts, but including all the Temple Guard that died, like only 5 damage gets through on Croak. End of the combat phase, when he rolls a 21, and Croak explodes. So I'm like, oh my god,
man,
I don't need a double turn anymore. This is amazing. And then we roll.
What did he roll? Like 2 5s and a 6?
So it would be. So 21 minus 5 is 16.
Oh,
so
okay.
you would have to roll whatever combination leads to 16 on 3
Oh yeah,
dice.
that's right. 2 5s and a 6.
Yep, 2 5s and a 6 basically.
Whoa.
And yeah. So
Whoa.
and then I got the double turn after that and just smoked him. But that was a game where I was like, I feel like I shouldn't have won that, and that was just me being, I don't know.
I don't know. That's the reason why Croak doesn't cost more though. Like 2 clan rats can take his ass out on a good day, and it's the way it is, right? Like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that took
And I mean,
you
like,
that made you 5-0, and you won your first, like, the first mini tournament or whatever.
yeah, exactly. So the format of this whole event is everyone gets placed into one of 4 pools. Each pool is essentially like a regular tournament over the course of 2 days,
Right.
where you play 5 games. And I ended up going 5-0. I was one of only 4 people in the entire championships that went 5-0 in pool play.
Yeah.
And basically, the top 2 people from each pool were pulled into the top 8 cut. So I got pulled into the championship cut.
Because this guy was already 4-1, or he'd already lost one, so he was 3-1 going into this game.
No, I think he was 4-0.
Was he?
I think so. I'm not a...
Someone
Check.
when you were playing it, someone said, I think he was 3-1, because someone said in our chat, someone said it in the I think it was the Warp Dice chat, and I was like, so does that mean that Carson, even if he loses, he can, because then they'll both be 4-1.
He was 3-1 actually, yeah.
Okay.
I did know going into this game that as long as I scored okay,
Yeah.
And lost, I probably had a good shot at being in the top cut.
Right.
But this, like, if you're 5-0, it's guaranteed you get into the top 8 cut. Also, Delicious Relish, thanks for joining. I placed 7th in the tournament, but I won 2nd best overall because of paint scores and other things like that. And then as far as WCP points, I actually came 1st.
Yeah.
That's a whole different metric that I can talk about later. But yeah.
Also, you, if they had calculated it differently, you would have won best overall.
Yeah. So like the way that best overall was calculated was basically you have it's an exact, you basically have like a number from 0 to 1, which is your paint score, and your paint score is like out of 85, so they just divide whatever your score is by 85 to get the normalized value of 0 to 1. So if you score 85, you get 1 basically for that. Then for your general ship score, it's just the direct like win ratio. Essentially, your wins versus your losses. So if you won 4, you lost 4, it's 0.5. If you won 8, it's 1, etc., etc. And what ended up happening, unfortunately, was I think it was Caleb Walters that won best overall.
Okay.
So he didn't make the top cut, but he was still 4-1. So he just absolutely like murdered everyone in pool play and ended up going 7-1. And then he also didn't make the top 3 in best painted. Which I did. I was number 3 for best painted, but he still got like a decent paint score. I think he was like just below being in the top 3 basically. But because he had gone 7-1 and I had gone 6-2, regardless of him not being in the champs bracket and me being in the champs bracket, just because of how it was calculated, he got best overall, which is fine. Like we all knew that going in. Like that's
fair. You all knew it going in. I would humbly suggest that when you go onto the champs bracket, you're going onto the best of the best of the best. And therefore, it should count a little more, but I didn't make the thing. So that's totally cool. And Caleb is one of the nicest guys out there. And so if it couldn't be one of my best buddies, Carson, I'm glad it was Caleb. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, again, it was in the tournament pack.
It's in the tournament. I'm not saying it's unfair or whatever.
Like
I can't help myself, Carson. I can't help myself.
It almost was, but I also did see the trophy for best overall, and it's actually the exact same as my best painted trophy from Tacoma. It just says best overall on it.
Oh, cool.
So
nice.
Yeah, so I can just scrape out best painted and just go overall in Sharpie,
yeah,
and then cry myself to sleep. But yeah,
same as every night though.
Yeah, this is the end of pool play. I was in disbelief that like I even managed to win any games,
dude.
You know, regardless.
Congrats again. I've said it a million times, but You were saying I want to be positive. I want to go 3-2 day one. That's your goal. And then you went 5-0 and we were just losing our freaking minds here. So, yeah.
Yeah. This picture is so when they did like the in-person reveals, they also actually had the Weta Workshop.
Oh, cool.
You know, like the new Titus model that they're making.
Yep.
And they actually had the main guy from Weta Workshop come in and like talk to everyone. And you know, he did like a little Q&A, and yeah, that was super cool to hear his New Zealand accent in person. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also got some like crazy dreads. Like it's like
He does?
must have spent a lot of time on the. Yeah, exactly.
You can't tell there, huh?
No, not this guy.
Oh.
This is an actor that he's supposed to be like a bodyguard, just like standing next to the.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, the Weta Workshop. I didn't get a picture of him because they told us not to do any photos at that time. But
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well done. Wow.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to Space Marine too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So now we've got
So now we've entered the championship bracket.
right.
This is Big Phil, who is like a known personality in AOS. I think he won the championships last year.
Oh, cool.
Him and I had just an crazy, or maybe he won it last year. I know he's placed very well in a lot of things.
Right. Was
he
he playing Seraphon?
No, he was playing Gits.
Oh.
Yep. This game was like the most cagey game I might have ever played, where until turn 3, I think, nothing had died, and we were tied points.
Wow.
And we're both just kind of shifting around the battlefield. And there was one pivotal moment where I lost the game because of a decision I made, where I could have given him the turn, or I could have taken a double. And I was like, okay, if I take the double now, I can definitely kill his general, and I have a chance at stomping the Loon Shrine, and I can get a couple things in. But if I give him the turn, he might do a little bit of damage to me, but he's kind of coming into my castle, which is like probably not going to end super well for him.
Okay.
And I chose the first thing, and it was the wrong choice.
You chose to take the turn.
I chose to take the turn.
Right.
Um,
It's hard
and
not to do it. It's really hard.
It's really tough, especially when you've spent like 3 turns doing nothing as a destruction player. You're like, come on, come on,
Yeah.
let's go. Like,
Meat. I need it. Yeah.
so my ogre brain won, and that definitely cost me the game. But despite it costing me the game, the end score was still 28-23.
Wow.
And the big deciding thing was that the Stonehorn went to go for a stomp when I needed him to, and failed it.
Oh.
Or not a stomp, sorry, like breaking the Loon Shrine, because his battle tactic, or sorry, his grand strat had to do with that. And then had he not been able to summon some stuff in on the last turn, he wouldn't have been able to deny me mine, I believe.
What was his list like? Was it mostly squigs, trolls, mixture?
There's no trolls. There was 2 groups of 20 Stabas.
Okay.
2 groups of 5 Loon Shrine Fanatics. 2 groups of 15 Boingrat Bounders. Scragrot, and a Madcap Shaman, the Gabapalooza, Sneaky Snufflers, and I think that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not that much stuff.
No. It's really, he has 2 or technically he has 4 hammers, but the Fanatics don't stick around very long.
No. What were the hammers other than the Fanatics?
2 groups of 15 Bounders.
Oh, 15. I'm sorry. I heard
Yeah.
it as 5, and I was like, I think some points are missing here. I don't understand. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
So that was a scary thing to go against. But again, like,
For real,
neither of us went into each other until turn 3, basically.
Wow.
And he was great to play against. Excellent player. And then, like, at the end of the game, he just basically got up and shook my hand, and he was just like, that was a proper mind F. I'm not going to swear on the
Appreciate it.
channel, but like mind F of a game. Shook my hand, said it was his hardest game in the last 3 months at least, which I'm sure was immediately broken after he played me in the other championships games, but it was still like, yeah, it felt great that he had really nice things to say. And he ended up placing 3rd in the championships this year.
Wow.
So
good for him.
I'll take that. A loss to the guy that came 3rd is good enough for me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
He definitely deserved the win.
What up, Darren? Thanks for joining us, man. And then This really says it all. Is the next one the one I think it is?
Yes.
Okay.
But also before this happened, I did play my final game against, or not my final game, but another game against Nicholas, or otherwise known as Spoon, who Daniel says also credit for saying I lost because I made this choice, not what is easier to say and what most folks say I lost because I failed at 3-up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's always a ton of decisions that lead up to the point of you losing on a dice roll, and there's always something you could have done differently. So I will definitely chalk up my loss to Phil as skill, like a choice that I made for sure. Because like if I had decided to give him the turn, I think it would have gone a lot better for me. Or maybe he would have spiked hot, and maybe he would have just destroyed me in that turn,
and then you would have been like, I should never give away the turn ever again. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, and I talked about it with him after the game too, and he said that in that decision, if he had won the roll off, he was going to give me the double turn.
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of what solidified it in my mind. I was like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. And that's why it's also important, regardless of if you win or lose, you talk to your opponent and say, what could I have done better? What was a decision that you saw me make that was just not the right one?
I completely agree. We do that after like every game we film too. Yeah,
exactly. So, but yeah, after that game, before this photo was taken.
So actually, sorry, just real quick, so people understand, because like you know what happened and I know what happened, but not everyone understands that the championship bracket is double elimination. So you lost your first game, and then that puts you into the losers bracket. No offense, that's what they call it. And then when you lose the second one, that actually kicks you out of the tournament. But then you did play 2 more games, but that's just, I'm just setting up that now you understand that you were like officially out of the running for winning the whole tournament kind of deal. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries at all. And Ludovicus is right. Phil was one of the ones who got sick. He was one of the first ones that got sick.
Oh man.
And he did only lose once, and I think it was to
really?
Skaven player.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, he had like his midnight game or whatever, or like the shadow round game to see if he should, like if he would like make it to the next day. But he was so sick by that point where I think he just conceded. I'm pretty sure.
That's brutal. Like he could have won the whole thing, maybe. You know,
it's possible. Yeah, he definitely could have.
Man,
so it's rough to see that for sure.
It is, because and I'm not saying it's the venue's fault or anything like that, but
no comment.
No comment. How about that?
But
man, that's brutal. Okay, sorry.
After Phil and I's game, our game went over the 3-hour time by a decent amount, probably by like 30-40 minutes. So as I said earlier in the stream, there was like 20 minutes between the end of Phil and I's game and when me and Spoon were supposed to start playing. So we didn't really have enough time to eat. I had to go to the washroom, and I came back and they said, hey, you guys are playing on stream. And I was like, crap, that's not going to be good. So I get on stream just like super hungry, not really knowing what the army is that's in front of me. We explain it all to each other, and I kind of like I parse it as much as I can. We play our game, and Spoon was a clean player. He's a really nice guy. He was also part of the French Academy, but he spoke English very well. And it was a good game. It was pretty close, but there were just some, again, decisions that I made that had I already played Techless and known some of the tricks in the book, I think I could have worked around. But it's mostly just that in his specific list, he has the ability to both pass off negative bravery on you, and he has a spell, or 2 spells actually, that make it so that anytime a unit wants to do something, you have to do a bravery check. And unfortunately, when I don't know what I'm really going up against, I tend to put a gigantic line of Noblars in front of my entire army. And then what he did is it said, if those Noblars want to move or do anything, they have to pass a bravery check. And by the way, they're -1 bravery. So they're effectively bravery 3.
Yeah.
And if you want to move them out of the way, I have to roll a 3 or less.
Right.
So it kind of became a meme on the stream where I was like, looking at him, I was just like, Spoon, sir, can I please move my Noblars? And he would roll his dice and just go, no. I was just like, God damn it. And that really hurt a lot. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. It put me down in points at first for a little while. I managed to catch up a little bit, but it was just too late in the game because it took me so long to get to him.
Mm.
I wiped almost like most of his army, and the Iron Blaster was like the absolute MVP of that game, almost soloing Techless.
Wow.
But it didn't quite finish the job, and he was able to kind of still win because of it. And I think the final score ended up being like 21-15. He like barely prevented my battle tech or my grand strat. Otherwise, it would have been like 21-18. So again, super close game, but I ended up losing unfortunately, which kicked me out of the champs bracket.
Right.
But
and
I will happily accept a loss to the person who won it all.
Won the
That's
entire
totally
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. If you
so
have
basically,
to.
I faced the people that went third, and the guy might have, Phil could have maybe even done better if he hadn't been sick.
Could have won that.
And the person that came first, and I think that those are perfectly acceptable losses. I mean, even getting to that point, like this was all gravy. So
That's
I was just happy to be able to play against such good players.
That's a great point. And I wanted to point out, Daniel in the chat said at the World Team Champs, he was chatting with Phil, and he was telling Daniel, I don't know why I'm paraphrasing, I should just read it out, telling me how he had played more games than there were days in the year so far. More than 7 a week, every week. Great bloke, great player. Yeah, I've heard the same thing, possibly from Daniel. But yeah, like I've heard nothing but good things about him as well, and so that's an amazing, like it's like, I'm not comparing myself with him, but like I played over 100 games of Skaven the first year they came out in 2019, and man, I knew that army at that point backward and forward, and they were by far my best army, and that's like really the way, and that's kind of, I think, part of why you're so good too, is like you just play one army, like as like a competitive army. It's like you're not like dancing around. Like a lot of people kind of moonlight as in different armies. I think that really helps you. Obviously, you're just really good and everything else, right? But I think it's a good idea to kind of just play a lot. You know what I mean? And if possible, main one army, and yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like that's definitely helped me be as successful as I have been in my first year. Because I feel like if I was constantly swapping between like my ogres and my slaves to darkness and what have you, it just would have been really difficult. And I think that picking a relatively simple army is really important too. Like obviously Skaven is not a simple army.
No.
But for me, it was easy to kind of latch onto ogres and kind of figure out the rest of the game really easily, and kind of parse out like what my opponent's armies do in much easier way. Like I can focus much more on what my opponent is doing, knowing that like, okay, all of these guys are hammers, and I just gotta move them at my opponent and smack them. Like that's
right.
That's my goal. So yeah.
You did. I mean, you did such an amazing job of learning the game in such a short period of time. It's at a high level. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hat is off to you,
yeah.
And it's staying off.
And then there was one more game before this quota was taken.
Okay.
Sorry. It was so you have to complete 8 games in order to actually get your generalship score. So basically, what happened is the 2 people who ended up losing twice and getting knocked out in the double elimination champs played against each other. So that was me and Benji Ascalad, who was also a French Academy player. So I ended up playing 4 of them, and he was playing Big Wa, and my game against him was very like. I know that Big Wa is like super castle, and what he did is he just kind of like moved his castle into the center of the board. So I just set it up in such a way that like I went second because I outdropped him. He pushed up. He didn't really do any damage. He did like his Wargog spell that killed a whole bunch of Noblars. So I like pushed everything up and then just like absolutely charged his like screen to death. So he had his entire army like brutes and whatnot like 6 or 7 inches behind that screen.
Yep.
I knew I couldn't get at them in turn 1, but I was like, okay, I can set this up in such a way that if I get the double turn, this game is over and he loses.
Right.
If I don't get the double turn, I'm in a bit of a position where my pants are down and it's going to be tough for me to recover, but it's not like impossible. And then I got the double and it just like, it was bad.
I mean,
in that turn, I killed his general, I killed a war chanter, I killed half the brutes. I brought the Maw Crusher down to 1 wound. And like, yeah, just like, and I almost killed the Wargog Prophet too. And it was just like irrecoverable for him at that point.
Wow.
And that was the game pretty much. So
that's awesome. But yeah, congrats again. That was a really good Ogre Steamroller indeed. Absolutely.
Yep.
So what happened in this photo, Carson?
So this photo, Keith Keith put it correctly where he says Carson in the current photo looks mentally exhausted, and let me tell you, I was, and I was physically exhausted too, because this is post being affected by whatever food poisoning or bug or whatever it was going around the tournament, and so basically, like shortly after my game with Benji, I started kind of feeling sick. A couple other people that I knew kind of started feeling sick.
Did you eat anything?
Yeah, we went to a food court place. But other people who hadn't eaten there were also feeling sick, and I was like, "That's weird. I don't understand what's happening." And so this photo is basically while the final game is happening on stream. A bunch of us were just kind of waiting for it to finish because that's when the award ceremony was going to be. But because it was taking so long, they kind of announced and they said, like, if you think you've won an award, please come up to the judges' table, and like if you have an early international flight that you need to leave right now for or something like that, or if you're sick, or even if you just want it, you can come and get your award now instead of like waiting for the award ceremony, which is going to end up being pretty late at night. So I tried to tough it out for a long time. I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little gurgly. It's not great. First bathroom visit, not good. And then after a while, it was starting to like really starting to come out. It was a bad time. So yeah, Nurgle was in full effect for sure, Robin. And it was, yeah, it was just getting to be a lot where I would like have to excuse myself to the bathrooms every like 10, 15 minutes. And
that's brutal, dude.
And, I mean, yeah, and it was rough. We were all getting like super tired. So I went up to the table and they made me pick one of 3 awards. Because I had actually qualified for 3. And
amazing.
I walked up and they basically said, okay, you have your choice. You can get third best painted, which is like this except bronze, basically.
Cool.
You can get best ogres because they do like a perfection thing. So I could have got that except gold, or you can get second best overall. And I was like, I'll take second best overall. I think I think that represents me as a player more. Where like that's what I target usually. So
yeah, I mean they're beautifully painted. So I agree. I think I would have done the same. Yep.
So the other awards got passed off to the next people in line, and I took second best overall and went home to my hotel and threw up a bunch. So
brutal, and other things.
Yeah.
He was being very funny, but I cannot repeat some of the things that Carson was saying in our local Discord because, Yep.
But yeah, if you go after one picture after this one, it accurately portrays how I was feeling.
Like, I'm not too bad. Oh, no, that's not good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was a rough time. Like, even I think I said this earlier in the stream, but for anyone joining now, like Gareth, the main TO, was not able to be present at the final game because he was so sick that he had to stay in his hotel room, which is just crazy.
Absolutely. Delicious asks a fantastic question, but did you die? We don't know how the story ends.
I don't know.
That's true.
Felt like it.
He does see dead people now, though.
Yeah, I think I almost died. And I had to spend a bunch of time in the Dallas airport, which is basically purgatory. So it feels like I died and came back.
It's either purgatory or like the second or third circle of hell. It's not that big a deal. Yeah. Daniel says also tough when the last game didn't have a set time to finish, so it's not like you knew when it would wrap. I heard it was almost to 5 hours. Yeah, something like that, or like it went crazy.
It was extremely long. Yeah, so that was kind of a point of contention. Like some people, before the tournament even started, really started getting on the TO's cases about using chess clocks. Right. And then Games Workshop came out and basically said like, hey, like we believe that our game should be played 5 rounds, regardless of how much time it takes. And I can kind of see the points like back and forth, but they did have a schedule that they were intending to keep, which kind of was tough.
So I mean, okay, like, but it just doesn't work for tournament though. Like, you have to set a time limit though. right? Like, there has to be a time limit. It's not baseball. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, I don't know. I just don't see, I don't know of another way to do it than chess clocks right now. You know?
Yeah, I think like there's a couple ways I've seen done, and obviously being so new to the competitive environment, like I wouldn't say that I like know the right answer.
That's fair.
Chess
I
clocks
don't
has
either, to
definitely
be
been-
fair. You know?
Yeah, chess clocks has definitely been used before, and I can see arguments against them. Like sometimes it causes a lot of anxiety in people. I also know that like dice down is another common thing where it's basically like, okay, and that's what I'm going to be doing in the tournament that I'm running in March. It's basically like you won't have to use chess clocks unless you're top tables in rounds 4 and 5. But once you get to 3 hours, like your game is done. And if you haven't completed 5 battle rounds, neither player completes their grand strat, and the game just freezes where it is until like both players have to have played that battle round basically.
Right.
So like I'll like I like the whole like putting out announcements saying like, hey, it's 15 minutes before the tournament round ends, don't start a new battle round.
Right.
Or maybe even like half an hour before, don't start a new battle round. I think that makes a lot of sense, but
then,
yeah, there's no one right answer.
So then, like, what if they finish the top of turn 3, right? And the 3 hours is up. Then is it just whoever? Like, what would happen then?
If only one player finishes their turn in 3,
yeah.
then what would happen is basically a judge would come over and say, hey, your game isn't finished yet. And then the other player would have to basically be forced to like finish their turn as quickly as possible, see how many points they score, and then that would be the final thing.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
But there should be a warning basically far enough ahead such that like one person doesn't get to take up the entire remainder of the time with their time. But there's always ways to abuse any system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's never easy.
It's never easy. I really like there's a TO in SoCal, or I can't remember if they play out of New Mexico or what, but really cool system where it's just the chess clocks are used if either player wants one, and they never have to use them because it's like at any point someone can say, I want to use them. Or if someone gets accused of slow playing in any way, shape, or form, or even just recommended, then that option is there for people. And then, so everyone just like tries really hard and then they don't need them. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
So, I mean, the looming, like not threat, but the looming possibility that you're going to have to possibly be chess clocked.
Exactly.
Could be enough to like kind of speed you up. I can definitely see that. I also like incentivizing finishing early. I know that Emerald City does it such that like if you finish a round early, A, they give you 2 raffle tickets, which is like pretty nice. And B, you actually get 2 more added to your differential score, which means that so basically instead of it being like 20-0, it'd be 22-2 if your round finished early.
Oh, wow.
And so what that means is that like if you finish your game early, it basically means like, okay, now your actual score is better, and it incentivizes you to like
it's more accurate then too. That's brilliant. That's really smart, because at the end of the day, if you know that there's no time limit on you, or if you're incentivized in any way, shape, or form to slow play, like, first of all, it just gives you the ability to kind of go, I'm going to think about what battle tactic I'm going to do for 15 minutes because that's available to me. And like you could like kind of mentally play out the whole round in your mind. Like, I'm not saying most people do that. In fact, I'm sure most people won't. It's just to prevent the people who are not going to be scumbags from having a bad time. Like, I hate to frame it from a negative viewpoint, but also it's more accurate because the other option is like, even when they have rules saying you cannot, like, sometimes they have tournaments where it's like you cannot like talk out your turn. That's actually not an uncommon rule, is you're not allowed to do it, and people still do it. And I don't even blame them for doing it. But with this system, it's like you are incentivized like strongly. it's more accurate. It's more accurate to like have both people finish and get a better differential score. Yeah, that's so much better. Love it. Sorry, I'll stop.
And so that's something I'm gonna shamelessly steal for the tournament that I'm running in March.
I think everyone should.
Yeah, like any way that you can, incentivize positive behavior rather than disincentivizing negative behavior.
Absolutely.
I think it's always a good thing.
That is brilliant.
And then I'm also gonna try like doing chess clocks on top tables only in rounds 4 and 5. So basically, like the players who are undefeated, the games that they play in rounds 4 and 5, just because those are the ones that like decide who's the winner of the tournament. That'll be on a chess clock, just because like at that level you shouldn't be losing because someone's slow playing you, kind of thing.
Yep.
Or if someone has gone overtime in 2 straight rounds, then they get chess clocks as well.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Oh, that's great. I actually really like that too.
Hopefully it works out. Again, this is going to be my first time, so it could completely blow up in my face. Maybe everyone plays overtime and then they call my bluff. I don't have that many chess clocks.
If everyone does though, and then no one's getting the differential score, and there's no freaking way that's happening. Daniel says he's a chess clock lover. I don't know that that's legal here, but I will continue to read. There is no need to talk anything out. Yeah, exactly. Both players know they got half the round to play their game, and the knowledge that you have to play in a time limit keeps it even. Absolutely. Rewards people for not playing slow. Good way to motivate those who would play slow for advantage. Exactly. Biggest argument for clocks is that time pressure causes mistakes. In chess, sports, video games, a time limit means mistakes or bad technical decisions. If you have endless time, it's much less tactical. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you know, I understand like how some people don't like them, and that's fair. But you know, a tournament is a competitive setting, so if you're really bothered by it, then just use one in your practice games. You don't even have to force your opponent to use it. You can literally just keep track of your own time on the chess clock, and then you can practice using them, and then you'll feel a lot better when you're using it in real. You know. Yeah. Change the slide. Let the poor man rush to the bathroom. Yeah, exactly.
Been holding it this whole time.
I don't know. I'm hoping that this becomes the thumbnail, if I'm being honest. Like, I do have ulterior motives. I'm slow playing the slide for sure.
Also, big shout out to Ricky Fisher's wife, Tiffany, who helped us both a lot. She, Ricky Fisher was there with me, and he also got like super sick.
Oh, man.
He actually had to delay his flight by a day. He stayed there an extra day because he was so sick. But like, she went to the CVS. She got like Gatorade. She got like salty crackers, like all that sort of stuff. And just kind of like kept us alive for a little bit, which was really helpful. And then another Ogres player that I met, Gabriel, he gave me an anti-nausea medication thing, which was very kind of him.
Wow.
So thank you, Gabriel. Very cool.
Absolutely. I think maybe that'll be on your packing list next time. It's like Imodium and like nausea medication or something.
Yep.
Like that. Yeah, I mean, I have a gastro disorder, so like I just take that stuff like with me all the time. But yeah, man, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
Yeah.
I need to get more games in. I'm working on trying to get the local place to start carrying GW stuff, but I have to wait to see if it's a good deal for them. Yeah, that's fair. I actually went to a local store here, a few years ago, and I said to him like, hey, like you should start carrying Games Workshop products. There's like a huge, need for it. And he was like, I'm never working with them ever again. So you never know. Yeah. You can, I mean, I'm sure you could abuse chess clocks, but it's, I mean, there's a whole system for it, Ludivicus, but like, it's a lot easier to abuse not having a chess clock than having a chess clock. But I understand what you're saying. There's always going to be, it's like when they make anti-piracy stuff, like the pirates adapt, and then so does the anti-pirate, and it just kind of goes on like that. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Carson Whitlock, number 1.
That's me. So this event went based on WCP points, or that's kind of redundant. WCP stands for World Championships points.
Right.
And what that means is basically you have like a whole bunch of different categories that you can get points from. And that could be like your paint score. It could be your generalship score. It could be how your faction did, how you did in your Grand Alliance. Like, how well did you represent your country, basically? And in this one, I was not signed up as Warp Dice because they didn't allow it. Like, you had to represent a country.
Right.
So I was representing Canada, and I scored the most points out of anyone else in Age of Sigmar for our country. So
Eddie's soldier.
yeah.
Amazing, dude. And Caleb
yeah,
Caleb got number 2 as well. That's pretty dope.
Yep. But yeah, it was because I came third in painting. I was in the top cut. I was best ogres. I think I did pretty well in destruction. Well, I would have came second in destruction, and I don't know what else would have gone into that actually. But yeah,
I mean, like, this kind of shows why I think that best overall should have been scored like this. But I'll stop it. I'll stop now.
Well, one of the things is that WCP is partially calculated by if you got best overall.
Oh, okay.
So like best overall got a certain amount of WCP points, and second best overall got a certain amount of WCP
I
points.
see. Yeah, but still, like, you didn't get best overall, and you still like got best overall in this. So that's all I'm saying, Carson. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you're my boy, and I'm not saying I'm not biased here. I'm saying I'm biased, but this is what I'm talking about. I'm pointing at it right there. There. Yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And
I think the last thing.
Sorry, just real quick. Is Phil Marshall Big Phil? Is that the same Phil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Representing England.
England.
Gurando. Yes.
I know this is just like the final standings, all game systems put together. I know that Canada won Warhammer Underworlds, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I don't know exactly how well they did in 40K. I think the other Canadians did pretty well in Age of Sigmar, but Canada took number 3. So yeah, United States in first, England in second, Canada third.
I mean,
or I guess Canada and France tied for third, and then Spain 4th/5th.
If you look at like the amount of people that play AOS and 40K in Canada compared to the States and England, this is an amazing success. Like, truly, that's I'm proud. Like, I don't normally say that, but like, damn, I'm proud, man. That's awesome. And sorry, by the way, there was Age of Sigmar 40K, obviously, and then I'm just hearing for the first time that there were Underworlds at the WCW. Was there also Warcry?
Not Warcry, but there was Kill Team.
Kill Team. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
So basically you had like the 2 main systems and then 2 of their like sub games.
Got it. I mean, Kill Team is very tactical, and it always has been. And I don't really like what they did with the new one, but that's neither here nor there. It's remained a very it's actually always been since the 8th edition version, I think it was. It's been like extremely competitive and tactical. So I'm glad to see that it was there, actually. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Bit of a digression there. Okay, this is...
And I think that was the last picture, right?
It was, yeah. So I'm going to go back
What
to
exciting...
this.
Destroy you.
That was, yeah. I can't
One nice thing is that because I made it into the top 8, myself and all the other people in the top 8 received an automatic invitation to next year's World Championships. So we are the first 8 people to get our golden ticket already.
That's
So we'll see you
amazing.
next year.
That's so sick. And I don't mean this kind of sick. I mean, it's awesome.
The good kind of sick.
Yeah, good kind of, not Nurgle sick. So did you get a golden ticket for next year, or are you going to get the golden ticket? Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
I'll get it next year, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So don't die.
Yeah, so basically every single time I beat someone out of a golden ticket tournament, I'm not doing it because I'm fighting for the golden ticket. I'm doing it to fight for them not to have the golden ticket. I'm basically just being a jerk to everyone that I beat at any golden ticket tournament from now on.
You're basically sandbagging.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? Like, so there is that is a thing for like, so like I watch a lot of fighting games, and that is a thing in the Capcom Pro Tour Whereas like if you win the previous year, then you're automatically in the next year. But like I know it's not like it's whatever, but like it's people do it on purpose so that like they don't have to fight certain people or whatever. Like not certain people, but you know what I mean? Also like you want to earn your way back in, like, you know, so yeah. You're doing it to make us earn it. Exactly. Yeah, he's making you better, okay? I mean, like, regardless, you're going to play it. Also, you're TOing. You're going to be TOing. You're doing other things, you know? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm probably going to try and take it a little easier after LVO. I'm going to go to a couple tournaments. Like, I'm going to go to Cake or Death. I might go to Sparkle Party. I'm not sure. I'm still undecided, but I'm gonna keep the spring relatively clear, just because going to tournaments is expensive. So I'm just gonna chill for a little bit.
Yeah, it's still so cool though that you, and like by the way, was there any prize support or whatever for this tournament? No.
No.
So it's pure bragging
or at least
rights. Right.
I mean, maybe if like I went to the award ceremony, maybe there was something, but yeah, I think it was pure bragging rights. But I mean, I guess you could consider a prize getting a golden ticket, because it is at least partial expenses paid.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a good point. But like, you're still gonna have to spend more money the next time you go for bragging rights, essentially, right? But it's you know, it's a huge honor. So I'm not complaining. I was just curious because like most tournaments have some kind of prize support, and so it was an honest question. I wasn't pointing anything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was a little different though, because like most tournaments get their prize support from the money pool that goes into purchasing your ticket to go to it.
Right.
Whereas like Games Workshop was not doing this tournament for profit, right? Like there was no entry fee whatsoever. This was just.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But it is also their games. I understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel. Like the thing is like because I always compare it to fighting games because I watch, you know, a lot of professional fighting games and stuff like that. And I used to watch a lot of StarCraft as well. And I was thinking like, well, they do it, you know, because it helps sell their game for both of these things, and also because, you know. But then I was like, well, on like esports side of things, like if you look at StarCraft and fighting games and that kind of thing, like they have sponsors, so they're making money off of the sponsors, which then pays for them to do it as well and still make money off of it. So yeah, you know, actually I think I agree. I think I should be more generous, you know, towards them for doing this, because there's no way they're making money off of this stream or this tournament. So
this is also the first time that they've done this on this scale. I know last year's World Championships was like 8 or 16 people for AOS. 8 each. 8 for it was 8 for best overall, and it was 8 for best general. So 16 total people, and it was like 2 separate tournaments. What, you know, 8 each. Only double elimination. So this is this is a way bigger scale. Like it's not even close. Yeah, exactly. And I think that their intention is like they kind of framed this whole event as if it was like the Olympics of Warhammer, basically. And I think that it seems like what they want to do is like make it bigger and better every year. So
hey,
I like you know the sky's the limit for what they could decide to do next year.
Right.
I'm excited to see what they do next year. So
well,
yeah,
and
fun.
You know, this is apropos of nothing. I just want to mention that ahead of time, Carson. Last year they were in New Mexico. This year they're in Atlanta. And so hopefully they'll, you know, keep changing venues. Hopefully we'll be somewhere else next year. Okay?
That'd be cool. I'd like that.
Pretty diplomatic, right? I mean, yeah, no, that was what I meant to say. No, it's really cool though. Like, I'm glad that they did it. I'm glad that they did like a huge reveal show at their they're doing a good job overall. I think it was, you know, it's getting better and better. And if it does continue to get bigger, that would be wild. Like, I can't imagine though, to be honest. Like, I think roughly 100 of each game system is actually enough. But
yeah, I could definitely see the point where like once you start inviting like tons and tons of people, like the bar to entry gets lower, I guess.
Yep.
But you know, it's it's tough to know like where that bar should actually be, I guess.
Right.
Because I already know that like with some, I was actually in the car with some people on my way to this event where they were talking about how like the guy that was in the car won an event to get his golden ticket, and then he won another event and couldn't get his golden ticket, so it had to be passed off to the next person who couldn't go for financial reasons, so it had to be passed off to the next person after that. And it's like as soon as you start doing that a whole bunch of times, it's no longer everyone that goes to this tournament has like one event. But at least it's like, you know, they're the top three, right? Which is fairly reasonable.
Right.
But if they like double the size of the event, then eventually maybe it could be like someone who's not even the top 10 at a tournament is getting a golden ticket, perhaps, which, you know, may or may not be correct, I guess. But like, yeah, who knows?
I mean, the other option too that they could have done, arguably, is, like, so he won a golden ticket, right? He won a golden ticket, and then he won ostensibly another one, essentially, and then that person couldn't go. So they could have actually gone to the second place person over at the first tournament as well, if they didn't want to go down too many rungs. But
that's true.
But like, I mean, I'm just pointing out, like, that could have been done. Obviously, you know, it's fine. It's fine the way they did it, but yeah. And who would they give it to? Like, for me, in my opinion, like, it should be given to whoever the person beat at top table. You know what I mean? But it might just go to like second place overall, which includes a bunch of other softer scores, that kind of thing. Which is fine too.
Like for
but...
Kippers, it was best overall.
Right.
But I won the tournament anyway, so it effectively didn't matter.
Yeah. Right.
But like, had that not been me, it's true. It could have been someone who was like even lower or something that it went to. But it's a tough thing to really figure out.
Yeah. I was just thinking about submarining and stuff like that, and I'm not against it or anything. It's just, but I don't know. Yeah. Wanted to go to the person most deserving. So,
yep.
Whoever is not Carson.
Exactly.
Man, it's so awesome. It was fun. It was really fun, like, cheering you on, and like my heart was in my throat the whole weekend. Yeah, man, it was super cool. If you want to lower the numbers while still having more qualifiers, just don't allow pass downs. Huh. That's actually kind of an interesting... That's true. That's actually a good point.
Yeah, but that... Everyone is suddenly going to be... Okay, speaking as someone in a position who could be the target of this,
yeah,
a lot of people would get pissed off at the person who wins multiple golden tickets. Because effectively, it's like if you have your golden ticket and you keep showing up to tournaments that have golden tickets available to them, people are like, why are you double dipping? Like, what? You don't need to be here, kind of thing.
That's true. Oh. Yeah, that's true.
Regardless of if like they actually played properly and like got to that spot, you know, deservingly, it's still going to cause contention.
That's true. I mean, you have it here, folks. Carson doesn't want to be mugged in the parking lot, so hand-me-downs only.
I think what I would prefer is that I can still win multiple tickets, but I get to just give it to whoever I want. So that, so I'm like, you weren't very nice to me, so I'm not going to give you a golden ticket this year.
Yeah.
Whereas he bought me a car. So.
He bought me a car just so he could spend more money at the WCW.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea that Keith has of wearing a headband with them stuck into it. Or if you want to be more Canadian, you just put it in your toque.
There you go.
Yep.
That works.
Classy.
Just shred it up and put it all over my poutine.
Your poutine. Yeah. I hear it makes it taste better. Like, what's that wine with gold in it? Or vodka. Vodka. Gold.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's for kids, basically, right? The one that's for kids.
the alcohol for kids, you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Also, except putting them behind the little ribbon band around your bowler hat. Absolutely. Yep.
I just lick them at people like like Gambit.
Like Gambit. Only if you make the sounds too. Well, put it at the top of a massive meat pyramid and make people fight for it like an episode of Gladiators. Yeah, like American Gladiators, you get them the big sticks with the padding on the end, and they fight over a pit of meat. Wait, what did I just say? A pit of meat is what I meant to say. Oh man, are you talking about the vodka with gold flakes in it? Yes, it's called gold something, right?
Goldschlager, maybe? I don't know.
Goldschlong, gold. I thought it was like gold fleck or just something like that. Gold.
Goldschlager is a cinnamon Swiss cinnamon schnapps. That's a difficult thing to say.
Okay.
I think that's it. That's what I had in mind anyway. Yeah,
Oh,
Goldschlager.
man. Goldschlager. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah, Goldschlager is going to be my drink of choice for the next year.
Only because there's no like meat flavored alcohol that I know of.
I'm sure there is, but it's probably just heinous.
Yeah, isn't that? Don't they do that like with Bovril or whatever in Scotland? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but
I know that they do that like snake in tequila or something, or a
Yep.
snake inside of.
Yep, they have it, and then there's in Mezcal they have the worm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mezcal is pretty good, but
It is. It's probably one of my favorite like cocktail mixers. Alcohol. It like really enhances any cocktail. Makes it really smoky and nice.
yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter, but shivers. So like I believe that Bovril is like some kind of meat drink in Scotland, and then people add alcohol to it or something. I don't know. Vancouver makes a turkey gravy flavored soda. Oh man, soda? Dan, it was not good. Okay, that was my next question. There was no inflection. I had no way of knowing whether it was going to end up good. But I was like, that can't be good, right? But
That sounds disgusting. Also, I've lived in Vancouver my entire life. Never heard of that, and I hope I never encounter it.
Me too. I can't say I've lived here my whole life, but like I grew up here. I am from here. I've spent most of my life here by far, and I've never heard of it either. Man.
Yeah. Also, one thing I completely skipped over in my mind for like meat alcohol,
Okay.
Caesar.
Oh, Caesar. There you
Caesar.
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically like the beef stew of cocktails.
Right.
Which is a terrible description, I realize, but they're actually not bad. I kind of like Caesars.
Well, I mean, a Caesar is a lot like what's it called? Mott's Clamato? Or it is Mott's
It is.
Clamato. Yeah,
It is Mott's, yeah.
right. Mott's
Like a
Clamato.
Bloody Mary, except with clam juice. So,
Right.
which sounds disgusting, but
It
adds
does.
Like a nice
It's actually
umami.
not bad though. It's actually yeah. I'm just not into Mott's Clamato, so it's just not really my thing. But yeah,
I think it's like the spice, like in the. I think that's what makes it a little better for me. It's like a little spice. It's not just the clamato.
right.
It's the horseradish.
And they usually garnish it with like a celery stick, right?
A celery stick, and you usually have like maybe a little like piece of prosciutto or bacon or like a prawn or something like that as well.
Right.
They get crazy with the garnishes.
I forgot all about that.
There's a place on Davie Street that does like an entire burger, and then no, it's like an appetizer and then a burger and then a piece of cheesecake on top. So it's like your entire 3-course meal on top of the Caesar.
That's crazy. That's a weird gimmick, but I like it. I like that they're trying. I can attest that using the turkey mince in your spaghetti. How do you say that word?
Bolognese.
Bolognese. Okay, thank you.
Bolognese, yeah.
Also, not good. Sooner try gravy soda than drink Mott's. I wouldn't go that far personally. I like that. That gravy soda sounds disgusting.
I just imagine someone taking a big bottle of gravy, putting it in their soda stream, and just going.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but you remember that episode of The Office where what's his name? Hide and Glenn, I think it is, from the warehouse, start their own like Japanese like gay sports drink or whatever, and then it goes out of business, and they hand it to Craig Ferguson's character, and he's like, what flavor is this? And he pops it open, and he's like, and he starts drinking, and he goes, coconut penis, whatever. He stops, and he goes, the coconut is really mild. That reminded me of that. It's like, I think I would much rather have coconut penis than a gravy soda, whatever that is. Oh, God. I dig that at some point in history, a Canadian saw oysters and went, I want to drink its juice. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. When I was in school in Japan, in high school, my girlfriend at the time took me down to the beach, and she picked up dinner off the beach, and she cracked open a sea urchin on the beach and just started. She's like, you want some? And I was like, okay, but it's not the same on the beach as it is when you have a little bit of soy sauce and rice and wet in your bottle. There's like seawater in there and stuff like that. It was kind of rough, but it wasn't as bad as you would think, maybe, but also not. I like uni normally. That's what I'm trying to say. But on the beach, it was not as good. Yeah. So, anyway, oh dear. Is there anything? I feel like there wasn't there one more thing we were supposed to say? There was one more thing. I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't think so.
We've digressed pretty far, so everything's been blasted from my mind. FEC and the tournament. I know there was one more thing. You live in uni, so you're saying that foods should be properly washed and prepared before consumption? That same girlfriend, her family would prepare fugu, the poisonous one, blowfish. They just did it themselves, and they're like, it's fine if you don't get the blood in it. I'm like, are you sure? Because you need a license normally to serve it in Japan. Like, you actually have to have a license, and they're just like, it's fine, just avoid the blood. You're like, okay. You're really playing with your life there. But anyway, yes, so more digression. I can't remember if we forgot something, we'll try and there will be a new battle report out tomorrow. I meant to have it out for today, and then got super busy. So battle report coming tomorrow. And yeah, thanks to everyone for joining us. Thanks for Carson for giving us a wonderful and detailed kind of experience of their new system and the new WCW championship thing. And yeah, we were really proud of you. Everyone was cheering you on in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, there is a link in the description. Also a link to Carson just made a Twitter account. I know I said that, but I'm saying it again. I just punched the mic. My apologies. Yeah, but thanks guys for hanging out. It was a blast. You guys were hilarious. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
See you.
I always do that in Kermit's voice for some reason.